The Fake Baseball Podcast is brought to you by Moonshots MLB. Whether season-long DFS or wagering is your thing, Moonshots MLB has the tools and content to help you succeed. All in one place in an easy-to-navigate, clean user interface. Basic stats combined with enriched StatCast data provide you a unique and fun experience. Weekly projections and weekly schedule to spot matchups for your start-sit decisions for the season-long players. DraftKings and FanDuel projections and optimizer for the DFSers. Wagering, got that too. A full odds board with game lines and player props for multiple markets and sportsbooks featuring calculated ROI and so much more. If Moonshots MLB isn't part of your fantasy, DFS, or wagering process, you are missing out. Be a part of a growing and exciting community. Follow them on X at Moonshots MLB for more information. Moonshots MLB. More than just your average launch angle. What's up, everybody? We are back for the second episode of the week. If you are in the live, we have all new graphics. If you follow us on social media, you saw that we unveiled a new logo. Shout out to Uncle Ted, who is the coolest dude ever, for helping us out with all of this. We got a new logo. We got a new overlay for streaming. We got all kinds of cool ass graphics. It is Blake Meyer.
Killed it, Ted.
Here as always with my boy Dylan Lydell. How you doing today, Dylan? How you like the graphics?
It looks really good, man. Ted did an amazing job. The countdown looked really good. Gave us a couple of other options too that look amazing. And yeah, I couldn't be more happy with it. Look at it. It's sharp.
It is, dude. I feel so official now. Gone are the days of just having our overpriced logo that I paid for in the background, taking up the screen and muddying everything up back there. And now are the days of just nice, clean, solid, dark colors with the red in there, which is my favorite color, which I like. That was a nice touch. We're looking nice right now. But before we go any further, there was one thing I want to say about our sponsor, Moonshots MLB. I follow them on Twitter. I talk to Mike all the time. Really nice dude. Their software that they have for betting and DFS and all that, I know I did like the ad read and all that traditionally, but this is just me speaking for me. They nail so many winners. Like, so Kyle Tucker just hit 2 home runs. They put out, they have a Discord for people to like follow and talk and do all that stuff and use their interface and everything. They just called the Kyle Tucker 2 home run game, won a bunch of money on that. They called the, I think they called the Bryce Harper 2 home run game.
Wow.
And then there was another 2 home run game the other day that they called out that too to bet as well. They're nailing winners. So like, please go check them out. I promise you, they're on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at Moonshots MLB. Like, they have so much cool stuff there. They're winning people a ton of money. It's well worth it. So shout out to them. They're amazing. But what's not amazing is injuries. How's that for a transition, huh? We got to get into a little bit of injury news. The in-season episodes are slightly different than the off-season episodes. Okay. When we're in the off-season, we have the freedom to kind of talk about who and whatever we want at any time because nothing changes. We can just kind of break down our research for you guys leading up to the draft and all that. In-season is a little different. We got to cover the happenings that are happening as they happen. Injuries, those sorts of things. So the first injury that I want to talk about, it's near and dear to my heart right now because I drafted him in 6 of my 8 leagues. Jeremy Candelario came out of the game yesterday after he hit that double. Apparently hyperextended his elbow, which is not really something that's exciting to hear. Cincinnati doesn't seem to think it is anything too overly serious, so he may avoid an IL stint, but hyperextending your elbow is not, it doesn't feel like something light to me. Does it worry you a little bit, Dylan?
He's getting reevaluated today from what I saw. Hyperextension, same thing I read. I think, I don't know. I think it's just kind of a tolerance thing, right? I think that's kind of what it leads into. It's early in the year. Maybe they just give him a few days rest. Who knows? Maybe it's an IL stint. If it's really bad enough, maybe he ended up straining or spraining something. I don't know. early on, I think they may play it with precaution, especially with the amount of injuries they've already piled on. So who knows? I think they might play it safe with him, give him a
Mm-hmm.
game or two rest, maybe the weekend, and then really see where he's at on Monday. I think that might be the smartest way to go. Yeah. What about you?
I think so too, because they still have some depth. Obviously, they came into the season with log jams everywhere because they were like so overloaded with talent. Kind of similar to how Baltimore is now, but I think Baltimore may have better all around talent. But it
For
was
sure.
a very similar scenario. But then they lost Noelvi Marte. They lost TJ Friedel. They lost whoever the hell else it was that they just lost. They lost a ton of people. And it opened up a lot of playing time, which in turn gave
Oh,
Candelario these
McLean.
extra bats where
That's
he
the
was
other big one.
initially McLean. That's it. So it's helped Candelario get like some extra bats, but now that he's injured, I do think they'll give him like just a little bit of extra time because they can sneak some guys in there to take some at bats to give him a day or two. But I do think they're going to try and push him a little bit with this one. Like maybe he's off till Monday. Like it could be one of
Right.
those things. Like just give him the
Yeah,
weekend
give
to
him the
rest the
weekend.
arm.
That makes most sense. Yeah.
Elbows just scare me. Like elbow injuries scare me, whether it's a pitcher or a hitter. Elbows just scare me. Speaking of elbows, Yuri Perez, that was one that we didn't talk about in our
Oh,
pre-show
yeah.
little thing, but that needs to be
Gone.
spoken about. Which is crazy to me because he had the elbow injury and they said that he wasn't in need of Tommy John. They were just going to put him on the IL and he didn't need Tommy John. He'd be cool. He'd pitch again this year. He'll be okay. They start the year 0-7 and all of a sudden they're like, oh no, actually he does need Tommy John.
0-8. I think they
Guess
lost
we'll just
again.
run it back next year. Oh yeah. So like it sucks because they were, for all intents and purposes, they were careful with him last year in his rookie year. I think he hit 150 innings combined last year, but they were careful. Yeah, they sent him down for like a month where he didn't even pitch last year. They just sent him down to the minors and sat him for a month where he didn't pitch. Yep. And he still is at this point right now where, I mean, we don't get to see any Yuri Perez until at least June next year, probably. Which sucks, man.
Yeah.
Like on a good thing, like Walker Buehler's going on year 2 of from his Tommy John. He still is not pitching at
some guys longer
level,
than others for sure. Yeah, and he's so young too. Like they really might just take it easy with him again. Who knows? Because he's only 20, 21. Like they don't want to ruin this whole big picture thing.
Yeah, no, they don't. Especially their pitching is really good too. They have guys that can come up and do it. Max Meyer looked okay in his first start. Sweet last name, Noble Meyer. I mean, they got the whole Meyer clan there, which I'm a fan of. But Noble Meyer's really good. He could get some run this year too. He may be their best pitching prospect. Sixto Sanchez actually didn't look that bad in the minors, or not minors, in spring training. Excuse me. Not having Sandy Alcantara hurts a little bit, but
and him.
We'll see what he can be next year.
Yeah. Such a bummer.
That's crazy. Then the other injury that we wanted to touch on was Wilson Contreras got hit on the hand with a pitch. I think didn't they say he's getting reevaluated today? It's Thursday, so getting reevaluated today to see what's going on if he needs to go in the IL. He was not in the lineup today. Are you a little worried about Wilson Contreras, or how are you feeling? I know he's got the 2 bombs lately. What are we thinking about him? You think he could be back sooner rather than later?
Anytime you get hit in the hand, you really don't know. It's either you're fine, literally just a day or 2 rest, let the swelling go down, you're good, or you get the Josh Young situation where you have to get surgery on your fractured wrist. Who knows? Like, he's one to really keep a close eye on because you never know until the word is official.
Yeah, so I think that is one worth monitoring because he had a really weird last season, which may have skewed some people's outlook for him coming into this year, because for the first like 3 months last year, he was so bad that I was actually recommending people drop him. He had been that bad. Around the All-Star break, I was telling people they could drop him. But then like late July, early August, he hit like almost 400 for the rest of the year with double-digit home runs. And he's got the 2 dingers lately. Absolutely killing it. Like, he's a top probably 7 catcher for the rest of the year if he's not hurt. But the problem is he is hurt. So monitor that. If he's on your team, just slide him to the bench. The fact that they haven't come out and said like no structural damage already does make me slightly nervous, because I think if he was okay, they would have just been like, he just needs a day to rest the hand. He'll be cool. No big deal. But the fact that they're like, we got to wait and see what everything says, that makes me slightly nervous. But don't drop him. Not that anybody would right now, but even in a single catcher league, he's good enough to stay on your bench or on that IL slot. But that does segue us into the other aspect of what we wanted to do this episode, and that was for in-season episodes. Traditionally, our like Monday or Tuesday episode, or our beginning of the week episode, we'll cover what happened over the weekend, and then we'll talk about some of our favorite waiver wire guys and outlook for the rest of the week, or at least the beginning of the week. And then our second episode of the week, we will cover kind of what has happened already that week, guys that we think are worth keeping an eye on or that we're keeping an eye on. And then we'll talk about maybe like favorite pitching streaming options for the weekend, or maybe like a specific hitter or something that's got a great matchup coming up. And if we keep the Thursday episodes, it'll stay like that. If we do Friday episodes, which we sneak some Friday ones in every once in a while, you guys know that. And by Friday, I mean recording on Friday. I am doing the weekly planner article for Fantasy Pros again. I write it Thursdays, so I'll be writing it this evening after we do this, and it comes out Fridays. And in that article, I look at all of the matchups for the upcoming week. So I'll look at all the matchup next week, next Monday through Sunday. I will highlight the teams that I like for next week, the teams that I don't like, and then like for the teams I like, I'll give you players that I like for you to keep an eye on next week. And then the teams I don't like, I'll let you know the guys like, hey, probably avoid these guys for next week because they don't have a good looking schedule. So we can mix that into the podcast also when we do some Friday recordings. That was a long-winded way to say Ivan Herrera is somebody that you guys need to be picking up for fantasy baseball. He's filling in for Wilson Contreras while he's hurt. He's already got some run at DH this year too. I realized like 3/4 of the way through that took me forever to get out. That's my bad. Ivan Herrera needs to be picked up. We need a whole soundboard for this. I'm gonna look into getting one of those.
Ted, on it. Ted, soundboard.
Add it to the list. Oh, there he is. Ivan Herrera. He hit a home run today. But the thing that stood out to me, I almost drafted him in a few leagues during spring training because he was putting up such big exit velocity numbers that it was worth paying attention to. You can teach a guy to hit a ball. It's very hard to teach somebody to have that kind of raw power. Like, that's one of those things you either have that insane power or you don't. I think he hit a ball 115 miles an hour in spring training. Yeah, like, so that says a lot right there. And the home run he hit today was no small potatoes home run. They have a good lineup. They're getting guys on base. If he's going to hit in the heart of that lineup, he's very widely available.
Yeah.
If you're in a waiver wire league, I'd suggest probably 12 teams or deeper, or 2 catcher leagues. Absolutely, he's worth a spot. If you're in a fab league, Dylan, what kind of fab would you spend on somebody like Herrera? I'm nervous he might go super high, but I'll put you on the spot.
Yeah, because this is
for me. If it's
sorry, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
No, you go ahead. Okay. This is where you're.
Because I mean, the problem where I struggle is I'm watching this home run clip real quick too as I'm talking, but I am still trying to figure all that out because I played Fab for fantasy football, but Fab for fantasy baseball, I think it's a little bit of a different game. Like there's so much more different variation in baseball because of prospects and stuff like that. You have a whole bunch more stuff you got to manage. So, expert Blake, I need help on this one too because I didn't know much about this guy, to be honest with you, up until about half an hour 45 minutes ago, and I'm getting sold by Ivan Herrera very quickly. So what should we be shooting at here?
Oh, if I was going to put more of like a ballpark on it, if it was before today, somebody on Twitter posted that they got him for $1 or $2 before today. But with him starting today, hitting the home run, he's got a 21% strikeout rate in the year, which is great. Hasn't walked yet. I'm not really worried about that. It's 14 play appearances. Yeah, you're probably going to get him for.
Wait,
if Contreras is going to miss considerable time.
I was just about to say they show Contreras
sitting
on the
considerable
bench.
Time.
I'm gonna see if there's anything on his hand.
So he was there sitting on the bench?
Yeah, I'm gonna do investigative work really quick. Hold on. Go ahead.
Oh, while you do that, I think probably in the $50 to $60 range could
You
land
you. He's got a couple of things on his bottom
right now.
bottom left hand.
Does he?
Oh boy.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like a thing right on his.
We might be breaking news right now.
And then a thing on his wrist.
All right, well, if that's the case, he might go closer to 100. So if you're in a Fab league and you really want this kid, especially 2-catcher league like TGFBI, he's probably going to be $100. Uncle Ted said bid 0 if possible. There's more guys coming. Oh yeah, there we go. He does have something on the hand and wrist. That's a good catch by you. So yeah, probably closer to 100. Catcher is pretty deep, but again, not many catchers have this kind of
good ones are hard to find.
Power. Yeah, and he stole 11 bases last year, so he's got some quicks. Big man can move a little bit. Maybe he steals some bases at the major league level. I like it. He's worth it. Oh, 100. Oh, my apologies. $100 in a $1,000 Fab budget league. $100 in a $1,000 Fab budget league. So like 10% of your Fab budget. Yeah.
I'm so doing really bad in TGFBI, by the way. I am bad. Carry on. Let's. This is tough.
All right. No, hold on. Let's dive into that real quick because I'm not doing so hot either, but I'm doing better than you. But what are you ranked right now?
Last time I checked, I was around like the 120, 130. I'm down to 385 now. I don't know what happened here. We got to do some work though. Yeah. That's quite the drop.
you got to make something happen.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a long season though. It's like you got some time. I'm down to 240 right now. I had some struggling hitters earlier. Candelario didn't help. Aaron Judge starting slow didn't help. Pete Alonso starting slow didn't help. Esteury Ruiz not even being good enough to play for the Oakland A's didn't fucking help. So I'm struggling a bit, but I mean, I could cook something up. I'll make something happen. Oh, and I'm just throwing this one out there because I just looked at my team and I haven't. So I have James Wood on my TGFBI team. I saw something. I think it was Victor Robles or something got hurt for Washington. I think he's starting in center field for Washington. And if
that's what I need to do.
Got hurt, that opens up a spot potentially for James Wood at the major league level because I believe James Wood is playing in AAA right now. And I think he started kind of slow, but he's not doing terrible. Let's see, James Wood. Because he's that Ellie De La Cruz, O'Neal Cruz build. Super tall, super big, but fast as hell. A lot of raw power. Yeah, he's in AAA right now. Just 3 AAA games. He's hitting 400 in 3 games. Not bad. Got a double, no home runs, but it's all good. He's got a ton of power. In spring training this year, James Wood hit. Helps if I click the spring training button. There we go. Jesus. In spring training this year, James Wood hit 364 with 4 home runs, 7 RBI, and stole 3 bases. So if a spot does open for him, he needs to be owned in all leagues. I don't even care what league size it is. I'm fully in on James Wood this year. Drafted him in TGFBI, holding him still, waiting for the day that happens. But moving on from the injuries, it is time to get into a few of our guys that we have liked a lot so far.
Jake Rogers, only 6 at-bats to start the year.
Who we think?
For Ivan Herrera.
Yeah, actually, I would. I think I would, and I'm a big Jake Rogers guy this year. I drafted him in TGFBI as well. I would drop him for Herrera. I think Herrera has the same type of power Jake Rogers has, but he has the ability to hit for a higher average.
They have him hitting 4. They already have him hitting. They have him hitting above Nolan Gorman. They want his bat in the lineup, even if he's not catching.
Yep. Well worth it. Yeah. Over Jake Rogers, absolutely. I mean, he has the potential to be a top 10 catcher. I'd say top 12 catcher. He can pretty confidently be a top 12 catcher if he gets 500 at bats this year. That's a real possibility. But now to highlight a few of the guys that we have liked so far this week. Dylan, who is somebody that has really stood out to you this week that you've got your eye on, whether you're enjoying watching them or somebody that you're looking to pick up?
Yeah, I think let's just start it right at you. Let's just give him his flowers to start. It's pretty unbelievable the kind of start Mookie Betts is having, leading the league in average, home runs, RBIs. Is he tied? Or he's not up there in steals. Okay. Runs scored, OBP, slugging, OPS, hits. Not up there in doubles. I was just looking at the tied list. Walks. I don't think I've ever seen a list that full with one guy leading the way. He's on one this year. Like, I don't know. I really don't know what else to say. He's very OP right now. He's just a glitch. It's just time to hand that man his flowers, and it's a lot of fun watching him play. And I can really appreciate this all happening and him bouncing around all over the field too and not being bothered a bit. Like, he's still the same player. He's a stud. I love Mookie Betts. We haven't given him enough love or talked about him enough.
We haven't. And in the fantasy baseball world, I think we're doing a disservice by not, because we love multi-position eligibility. He's got outfield, shortstop. He'll have outfield, shortstop, and second base by the end of the month if he doesn't already on your platform, which is nuts. Moving from outfield to the middle infield like that is nuts. We see all these guys move from the middle infield to the outfield, like a Jackson Merrill, Fernando Tatis, Jazz Chisholm. Guys do that fairly regularly, but to see somebody go from starting in right field, just be like, oh yeah, no problem, I'll go turn double plays. Like that's crazy.
It doesn't happen.
He's already put up 1.4 WAR this year. In 9 games, he's put up 1.4 WAR. That's absurd. I think that's Mookie, more than Jared Kelenic has in his career. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mookie, I mean, if you drafted him, good on you. He very easily could be the number 1 overall player. I know, like in ESPN points leagues, he is the number 1 overall player, and I think he's doubled the second place person. Lourdes Gurriel is the number 2 points scorer. Mookie Betts has like 67 points. Gurriel has 38. So he's pretty.
Yeah, everything's going to change. He's not going to be the
pretty
leader
insane. The lead that he's gaining on people.
Yeah, he's not going to lead in every single stat category, every single statistic at the end of the year. But just seeing it after a week and a half, of it's crazy. He's going to lead in some of them, not all of them, but he's going to lead in some of these ones.
It is. I mean, he's going to be up there for league leader in total bases this year, I bet. He may lead the league in runs scored. I think he did last year, 126 last year. I think that was good enough to lead the league. He also drove in 107 last year. Walked damn near as much as he struck out. So, yeah, Mookie, if you drafted him, you didn't draft, you got to steal. I don't even care if you took him at the number 2 pick. You got to steal when you drafted Mookie Betts this year. And then moving on from Mookie Betts, somebody that I wanted to highlight so far this year is Michael Conforto. I get asked about him a lot on Twitter and on Reddit. I was going to add him in my waiver wire article for this week for Fantasy Pros, but I didn't, only because I already had started out the article with like 2 or 3 outfielders. And people get kind of picky when I just load it up with one position, which I get. Nobody's going to read a waiver wire article that's got 6 outfielders in it. That's kind of lame. So I think he's very deserving of the spot. 31% K rate. K rates don't really worry me right now in, what is he, a 7-game stretch. A 31% K rate doesn't really worry me. He's an RBI. San Francisco looks like a pretty decent team this year. So there's plenty of RBI opportunity there. And I think he's been hitting in the heart of that order, hasn't he? I do too. Yeah, he's hitting cleanup the last 2 games. Hitting cleanup, which is good to see. I like that. He moved out from hitting 6 and 7 up to number 4, which puts him up there with Jorge Soler. I do like the Giants this year. I do think Michael Conforto is a very viable waiver guy still, if he's still available. I think he's still pretty readily available. He's worth a spot on your lineup, and I think the Giants have a pretty decent matchup week next week also. So keep an eye on Conforto.
Yeah, I do like the Giants a lot this year. I'm very jealous of them too. They kind of had the offseason I wish the Mariners would have had. So kind of a part of me is kind of pulling for them just to stick it to us this year too. Just, what's up, Stanton? What's up, Jerry? Snell wanted to be here, man. Sucks to see. Yeah, I don't know, but Conforto too, having him hitting forward, didn't know that. There is some caution there with the offense just because of the park, especially left-handed hitters. Not ideal. I probably would still take Jung Ho Lee over him too, just because I think that park is going to fit his game a little bit more. He's going to be able to get on base, spray the ball around a little bit more. But I mean, Conforto's off to a good start. I think that's a good good highlight. 3 bombs, 370 average, killing it.
Yeah, and I think he did get downplayed a little bit coming into this year just because he had a decent 2021. I mean, it wasn't great, but then he didn't play again until 2023 because of injuries and like nobody wanted to sign him and all that. And he had kind of a weird year. He had to knock a lot of rust off last year. So I think this is probably the healthiest we've seen Conforto in a long time. He's hit 30 home runs before. Granted, it was 2019 when everybody and their mother was hitting him with the juice balls, but he got to 28 in 2018 and 27 in 2017 as well. So he has upside and he's being overlooked quite a bit. There's value there. 5 outfield leagues love Conforto. He's gonna help you in a lot of different categories. But Dylan, who's somebody else that has impressed you so far this week?
Yep. Spencer Steer is also off to a really nice start to begin the year. Only once, or let me double check. 4 strikeouts to 1 walk. Like that's all right. Maybe get a couple more walks here and there, but 435 average, 1 home run, stolen base, 5 runs scored, but just getting on base, doing his thing. And I've really noticed him in our rotisserie league. That's why he caught my eye. But anytime you're hitting 435 to come out the year and you're playing every day, like you're doing your job. And this is a guy that he's got multi-position versatility, first base, second base, third base, and outfield. He can play everywhere. He needs to be rostered everywhere. I'm sure he is at this point, but like I haven't played first base and it feels like a little bit of a cheat code.
Yeah, I have him in Tout Wars as my starting second baseman. head-to-head points league. I slid him in there at second base. Great points league player. Just great all-around player. He had 63 extra base hits last year, and he stole 15 bases. That's crazy. Nobody is taking at bats from him for this entire year. Like for as stacked as that Reds team is, even when everybody comes back, nobody is taking at bats from Spencer Steer. He's too good all around. He plays too many different positions. He has the pop. He's got enough speed to make it interesting. And he hit 271 last year. So the ability to hit the balls there. One thing that stands out to me is so in 2023, he had a 37% hard hit rate, which isn't bad. Like we can live with the 37%er. He's got a 52.5% hard hit rate this year.
Yep.
So he's now tearing the absolute cover off of the ball, which makes a big difference, especially when you play your home ballparks at Great American Ballpark.
Yeah.
And oh my God. Okay. So he's making that crazy hard contact, right? He also has a 97% zone contact rate. He's just literally not swinging and missing. He's Luis Ariz with a 53% hard hit rate playing at Great American Ballpark. That might be underselling him a bit, but maybe a little bit. But that's crazy. That's the level of zone contact that like the league leaders in baseball sit at, and he's killing it. So love it. Love the Spencer Steer pick. I think he is pretty widely taken. He might be like 80% or above, but I think he makes a great trade target right now, especially with only hitting one home run so far. If you were ever going to get any kind of Spencer Steer discount this year, it would be right now when he's got the one home run. So go ahead and look in on Spencer Steer in every category. Grant in the YouTube chat, what is up, my boy? I'm not sure what you're trying to say, but I appreciate you being here. Very much. I appreciate you. And then as far as for this weekend for you, as you guys know, we've talked about it before. Me and Dylan sit down and we hash out who we're going to speak on beforehand. I have a tendency to throw curveballs at Dylan every once in a while, keep him on his toes. But so looking ahead to this weekend, who is it that you're going to be paying attention to the most this weekend? I already know the answer. It's one of my favorite players in baseball this year.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Tariq Skubal. I think this is a very good matchup. It's not this weekend. It's tomorrow. I mean, maybe tomorrow night. That's the start of the weekend. So he's pitching tomorrow night against the A's. That's about as good a matchup as you can hope for and ask for. They're in shambles right now. And how about their stadium too? And just all that. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, I'm taking Skubal. I want to see how.
That's terrible.
Yeah, he coming off a really good first start. He's been getting delayed, pushed back. They've been having some rainouts and stuff, but it's going to be his go tomorrow, and I can't wait to see what he does.
I can't either. In that first start this year, he was literally everything we dreamed he would be, and then more. It's not often that we hype a lot. Well, there are guys that we hype up preseason where
we've
everybody
talked about
in the industry
him
seems
lot.
to hype them up the same way. This year it was Skubal. Yes, we have. And to see him come out, pitch 6 innings, a 3-hit ball, walk nobody, and strike out 6, that's a great start to talk. But hey, I mean, you play who you play, and he looked dominant against a team that was, I mean, ready to be dominated. If you look at his heat map, he threw his four-seamer 33% of the time in that first start. It lived at the top of the zone. And one of the hardest to hit things in baseball is a 100-mile-an-hour fastball at the top of the zone. Even a 92-mile-an-hour fastball at the top of the zone, especially when they have the same amount of IVB that his fastball has. I mean, I think it's got 18 inches of induced vertical break, which is nuts. 100 miles an hour with an 18-inch IVB is crazy, especially when he's dotting it at the top of the strike zone. So, yeah, I think Oakland is in for a nightmare of a game on Friday. And if you have Tariq Skubal, I don't think you would be considering sitting him, but like if you play DFS, whatever, Tariq Skubal is the guy to play starting tomorrow. So I have him in a few leagues. I can't wait. I think I have him in TGFBI, but I do have him in TGFBI. I don't have him in Tout Wars. I wish I did have him in Tout Wars, but I don't. And then before we get to my last two guys real quick, I wanted to take a second to let you guys know that brought to you by our very own Patreon. Me and Dylan have started a Patreon so that we can get you guys more of the content that you love. We will be having bonus ad-free episodes there every week, only for subscribed Patreon members. It's only $5 a month, so it's cheaper than the cup of coffee that you go and get from Starbucks every day. We're also going to be putting more written content out there as well. I have my 2 articles for Fantasy Pros and my 1 for Pitcher List that I'm doing every week, but I'm also going to be putting out a weekly article there. Dylan is going to be putting weekly content out there as well. So there's going to be a lot of good stuff there to help you guys win your fantasy baseball leagues. We actually have a really cool idea for Dylan's article he's going to put out every week. It's going to be kind of like all of his like research and thoughts from the week are going to be combined into just like a quick hitter style art, interesting or maybe a little worried about. Easy access, easy to read, great content to help you win. Again, it's only $5 a month, and you can find that at patreon.com/thefakebaseballpodcast. And now for who I am looking at for this weekend, it's DL Hall, starting pitcher for the San Diego Padres. I promise you I'm excited to say it, but I'm also not, because he's facing the Seattle. He's the prized trade piece in the Juan Soto trade.
Okay.
He looked okay in his first start. I mean, let's be honest, like it wasn't like an otherworldly start that he made, but he's now facing a Seattle Mariners team that just broke the team record for most consecutive games to start a season with 9 strikeouts or more. Just who knows what they're doing. They're really struggling. They can't seem to hit the ball. They do okay hitting a fastball. DL Hall throws a decent fastball, like 49% of the time in that first start. But the thing you need to pay attention to is he has a disgusting changeup. And if there's one thing that the Seattle Mariners really struggle to hit, it's off-speed pitches. So he throws off-speed more than 50% of the time. He's probably going to go 6 innings just because the Mariners swing early and often, so it's not going to take him a ton of pitches to get there. And he's probably going to hit double-digit strikeouts, if I had to be honest. Again, as much as it pains me to say that as a Mariners fan, there's a realistic shot that DL Hall goes 6 innings, 4 hits, maybe walks 1 or 2 and strikes out 10. That's a realistic start for him. And he is very widely available in a ton of leagues. So if you're trying to stream somebody, he's a great streaming option. He might fall into that. We talked last episode about how there's the guys that are streaming options and then the guys that are just slightly better than that. He might fall into the just slightly better than that in like your traditional 12-team league. He might be worth stream him this start and hold him. See how it goes. If you're the trading type, you can flip him.
Okay.
So Dylan, are you on base with me for this DL Hall start, or how are you feeling?
Yeah, no. Any pitcher throwing to Mariners hitters is a dub into the moon because we're trash. Mariners are on my shit list right now. I'm not enjoying them, watching them play. Yeah, everything you said is probably right. It's probably going to happen, and yeah, it is what it is.
Dude, so it was your dad's birthday yesterday. I texted him yesterday morning and just said, "Happy birthday. I hope the beer is cold and I hope the Mariners win by 12." And when I showed up to their house to get the kids, he was like, "You jinxed them." And I was like, "Damn it, I know." I said, "Next year I'm gonna say I hope they lose by 20 and we're gonna hope it flips us." So you could blame that one on me. That's my fault for that one.
Yeah.
But they need to do better.
I mean, So many problems right now with them, but like it's really frustrating, and they haven't been. But and this is like the third or fourth year now when you're expecting and almost relying on your pitching to be perfect, and when they're not, no, it's
Mm-hmm.
just not going to happen. It's just not happening.
Yeah, and it was a little weird to see. I mean, we're gonna get into some Mariners talk real quick. We're done highlighting players for the week, but we get into straight Mariners talk right now.
It's more of an event.
Um, Kirby obviously didn't have his stuff yesterday to start the game. Like he did him zero favors whatsoever. France can't even field a slow rolling ground ball to first base where he's
That one was
standing on
bad.
the bag essentially. He can't fucking field it enough to touch the base and throw it for
That
the
was
double
bad.
play. He would have saved a run at home, got 2 outs, inning would have been over. Polanco twice had the ball go off of his glove. Nobody can
Whoever
seem to do
whoever keeps
anything
book
right. Luis Urias sucks at baseball.
whoever
That's
keeps
just the
book at
easiest
T-Mobile needs to
way to
lose
put
their
it. He just
job.
fucking
They
he
are,
sucks at baseball. One of them,
gosh,
and he couldn't hit a baseball to save his life.
yeah. This whoever keeps score at T-Mobile needs to lose their job. They are patty caking them so much and just giving them free hand. Like at the middle of the game, announce it on TV. They
Mm-hmm.
took one of Polanco's errors off the board. I like it's unreal. Like like as a fan, I don't know why that makes me mad, but hold them accountable. Like these are errors. These are errors and lazy bad defense
Mm-hmm.
that these guys are playing right now. It's frustrating. It's horrible. It's not fun to watch. It's not my brand of baseball to watch.
Not at all.
Like I can take the
Right now, the
strikeouts. I
Seattle
can,
Mariners.
but play good defense.
Yeah, that's the thing that they always did so well. Like they pitched well, played good defense, and then they just found a way to sneak some wins in with their hitting. And now, like they can't hit, they can pitch okay, and they can't play defense, and it's just a bad combo. They lead baseball with a 30% strikeout rate right now. They have a team slugging percentage of 289 so far through 7 games. 289 as a team. That's terrible. As a team, they're worth negative 0.1 WAR with a 67 WRC plus. They're just a bad team. It's bad baseball. Julio's like, I love Julio. I'll never speak ill of Julio ever, but he always starts cold, but he wants to start hot so bad, and he wants to like, I'm the man at the beginning of the year, and I can show you that I could do it the whole year. So he just presses at the plate nonstop and consistently tries to make things happen. It was cool seeing him get that his first career walk-off the other day. That was awesome. That's what he needs to be doing. But the problem is he's trying to hit a home run every time he comes up to bat instead of just get the bat on the ball, get on base, and get yourself in scoring position.
He really
Which
gets
way he needs enough power that he just has to get the bat on the ball and he'll make shit happen.
He just gets really caught up tight. Like he really emphasizes that inside out swing. His timing is just not super is off right now. He's late and he's really still trying to emphasize that inside out thing, and he's just pushing everything, pushing. You're not going to do anything on that. Once he figures out that timing, catching it out in front, that's when we saw him have the August that he did. His timing is just really off right now.
Yeah, so hopefully he can get it together. JP, like everybody will be like Maris put out in a while. Garver still got a couple doubles on the books, which is what we hope to see from him.
His approach
Luis
is
Urias
nice.
just sucks. He's not going to get better.
No.
Rojas will be okay.
I need Rojas playing every day.
Garver?
Yeah, I like Garver's approach. Like it may not, he doesn't look like he doesn't look like he's being overworked or anything overmatched. He looks real calm and relaxed, but he's just kind of taking what they're giving him. He's one of the guys I'm not worried about at all. He'll be fine. Like he looks really calm up there. Things just not going his way, and he already had to deal with an injury. So I think Garver's going to be just fine. But there's a few of these guys like Canzone, just lost, just has no idea what's going on right now. couple of other guys I'm blanking on, but yeah, Canzone's been a huge disappointment for me.
It's been a big disappointment for me too. And the only other one that worries me the most is Henniger, but not because of his performance career
How
where
much
his
they're
playing
relying
time
on
needs to
him.
be monitored. He can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can't play 150 games, and I think he's sat once or 0 games so far. Like started every game
No,
in right field.
he's played every game.
Mitch Henniger cannot do that. As much as I love Mitch Henniger, he cannot do that because he's going to break down at 50 games, and then we're going to have to call up Samad Taylor to come play right field, which he was exciting in spring training, but we also saw Samad Taylor hit like 200 for the Royals last year with no power. So that doesn't excite me in right field. And Rayleigh, look, I've preached on this podcast from the day that we signed Luke Rayleigh. He's not good at baseball. They're finding ways to create lineups that do not include Luke Rayleigh in the starting lineup this year. They're finding ways to not get him at bats. So I don't think he is even going to be. He's played 5 games so far, struck out 41% of the time, hitting 250 with no extra base hits. Oh, no, he's got a double. Oh,
I was about to say 250 is not as bad as I
got a double. He's just not good at baseball, and they really.
Yeah.
He's 3 for 12 with 2 singles and a double. I think 2 of them came in one game. So yeah, they're gonna have to go into the minors. Ryan Bliss gonna get some play at some point, which I hope he does. He stole a couple bases last night, I think, for the Rainiers, so that'd be nice. But other than that,
can he not run into our shortstop?
I hope you guys enjoyed the new graphics. Again, shout out Uncle Ted.
Never mind.
Oh, for real.
No, I was just about to say, yeah, is it can he not run into our shortstop? Yeah, right. This is a tough delay we got going on today. As long as he can't run into our shortstop that's trying to take the ball with his momentum going to first, I would really appreciate that. Yeah. All righty. I'm good.
Yeah, that's it's crazy that little things like that are the bare minimum. And that's all we need people to do is just the bare minimum, please.
Mm-hmm.
But if you guys could do the bare minimum, that with a 5-star rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, that would be amazing. It goes a long way to helping us continue to climb up those top 100 chart.com/the Fake Baseball Podcast. I do already have an article up right now that is my favorite streaming option for every day between now. So, you guys go check all that out. Make sure you are following us on all of our socials at Fake Baseball on Twitter, at Fake Baseball Pod everywhere else. And we're also on Facebook. Shout out to those of you watching us on Facebook. Just search the Fake Baseball Podcast. You will find us there with the new logo. And Ted, again, thank you very much for these graphics. These look
shout out you, Ted.
Phenomenal. You are the man, Ted. Thank you very much. And with that in mind, we'll catch you guys.